Jason's next question says, hey guys, I have an e-commerce website using WordPress with WooCommerce. Would you recommend a subdirectory or folder on the same domain and load a new WordPress and create a blog? Yes, that's what we've always recommended. I mean, I don't do any e-commerce stuff, but I mean, in the past, I have done some SEO for some e-commerce clients, but it's not something I like to do. So I got out of doing it. But we've always recommended so that you have control over like essentially a content distribution engine, right? And that's WordPress is great for that. So you can either put it in a subfolder or directory of the root domain, or what we always recommended was to put it in a subdomain instead. And that's because a subdomain is still treated as kind of a separate web entity or separate site, I should say, a separate website than the root domain. So that if you're in your content distribution, you do something spammy, which if you follow our methods, you won't have any trouble, at least we, you know, as it stands right now, but Google could change everything in a moment's notice. But we've never had any issues. But if you put it in a subdomain and you were doing something spammy or something, Google changed its rules all of a sudden and something became spammy, it wouldn't affect the root domain, which is where your e-commerce site resides. It would affect the subdomain only. So we always prefer, like, you know, you could put blog dot as a subdomain to whatever your domain is, or whatever you want it to be, news or something like that. And that's what we prefer to do. But you could put it in a subdirectory. But yeah, that gives you the opportunity then to do all your content marketing. Remember, if you've got an e-commerce site and you've got product categories, for example, you can mirror those same categories. We talk about theme mirroring all the time. If you don't know what that is, you know, it's essentially duplicating or mirroring your site structure on other assets. So you have, if you have product categories in your e-commerce site, you can mirror those same categories as content categories, or, you know, in WordPress, just categories. The same, you could title them and everything the same as what they are on your e-commerce site. And then you can publish posts, blog posts or supporting posts as kind of a link building method that, and place them within those particular silos or categories in the WordPress site, distribute them out to a syndication network, mirror all of that stuff on a G site and an RYS drive stack, press releases, all that kind of stuff. You mirror all of that together, and it works really, really well to push power to your, you know, your ultimate destination, which would be your e-commerce product pages. So you want to comment on that?
Yeah, we used to recommend going to a subdomain because we wanted to protect the root. Because we were doing, let's admit it, we were doing a lot of evil stuff.
Yes.
To the subdomains. We were blasting them to the point where if we had them connected to the root, any penalty would pass to the root. What we've done is we've taken a step out, because now everything goes through our SEO power shield. And so now the root is protected. And so in order to push even more power, by all means, put it in a subdirectory, because then you're accruing everything inside the root when you go into that subdirectory, rather than stepping in a subdomain, which is treated as a separate website. So you're one hop away from your root domain anyway, and you're losing link equity. When you're, anytime that you're one hop or more away, you lose link equity at each hop. When you're in a subdomain, you don't lose that link equity. Excuse me, when you're in the root, you don't lose that link equity. When you're in a folder inside the root, you don't lose that link equity because you're not a hop away. You're in the root. Now, if you do want to protect it, then you just install in the www, right? So that's where you would do the root, because that's a subdomain anyway. So that's how you do it. But we have the SEO power shield. It's not necessary anymore, because everything that we do goes through our SEO power shield, which amplifies and protects. That's why we call it the SEO power shield. It powers it up, it amplifies, and it protects, it shields it. And so that my recommendation would be totally, unless you're planning on doing a whole lot of evil stuff to that subdomain, go with a folder inside the root.